Galileo, great to see you. We know you are the bullish of bullish people when it comes to Tesla. Does all of these new developments that have happened over the course of the last 24 hours change your perspective of the company?
I mean, fundamentally, I'm still long my shares, no plans on selling. I still believe in the company. And you know, this is just a consequence of something that happened like a month or two ago with the funding secured tweet. So it's not like Elon did anything else that's bad. But I will say it's never good to be investigated by the SEC. And I really think they're trying to make an example out of Elon. And actually, I did read into the case. I talked to a securities law expert. I think the case is actually pretty weak. The crux of it is all on Scienter. Was his intent there to deceive, manipulate investors? And I just think it wasn't there at all. His real intent was to be truthful and transparent. And so I think the case isn't actually going to hold up.
If the case is so weak, why would the SEC bring it then?
Well, they actually, according to CNBC, we're gonna, well, I think they have to bring it. They have to look into it because Elon is so high profile. This had so much scrutiny. And if you really want to know what I think is going on behind the scenes, I mean, the biggest shorts who are in Tesla, if you look at the playbook of what they've done with other companies, they basically they pressure regulators to investigate things that could be questionable and basically spoon feed them a case. And I believe that is exactly what happened here, is you have a lot of, first of all, the SEC felt like they had to do something, then you have all the shorts pressuring them to do something and sort of trying to make it a bigger deal than it really is.
I want to just take it out of this for a second and then come back, because even without this case, I mean, you already have Wall Street analysts downgrading the stock today, saying that even without him, the long-term prospect of Tesla really not there. So it just seems, these are bankers, these Citigroup, you know, they're coming out with these pieces, and they're the same ones that the SEC cited in their complaint, saying that these analysts called up investor relations at Tesla didn't even know what to say, and they just took Elon's tweets as statements of facts and distributed that out as what was actually true. And that clearly, according to the case that they're bringing on, it was not true.
Yeah, and you're totally right. Like, Elon messed up with this tweet. I will give you that. And so, but I think what is even more interesting is, like, okay, so there was damages done because, you know, these analysts sent out the report. But think about all the damage that has been done because the SEC has brought on this case. And I actually think there's more money lost. Like, if their job is to protect retail investors, they're actually hurting them more by bringing on the case. And specifically Article 5, where they say they want to remove Elon as a director or officer, I think is totally uncalled for. And that does way more damage to retail investors than actually protecting.
Okay.
I think that's a little ironic.
So the worst case scenario, which we've talked about for a couple of weeks here, is that he would be removed and that the SEC might ask for it. And in this case, the SEC is asking for it because they believe, based on their evidence, that he was absolutely reckless. And they listed out their charges here to do so. I mean, I agree with you that, again, this case is now against Elon Musk and not against the company, to protect the company from being in the same situation as Arthur Andersen and these companies that had to collapse as a result of that. But I mean, I don't, I guess, quite understand how you can still be bullish on the company when the evidence is so strong that the leadership is so disconnected from the operations of the company.
I mean, look, the leadership, in my opinion, is phenomenal. The highest car by revenue in the US in August was the Model 3. Like, the execution of this company is phenomenal. The growth, the track record of what is going on at Tesla is unbelievable. Like, I was just at the factory. The reason why I think Tesla is cheap now is if you look at what this is as an asset, they have a massive battery factory, a massive car factory.
Well, then you should be happy that this is a buying opportunity. I mean, this is...
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I had capital, I would be buying.
Well, then you would have to actually be happy that this was actually filed, because shares now are down, 12% on the day. They're down 26% from the point in time where it closed on the day that he tweeted it out. So, I mean, shouldn't you be cheering this because the stock is so much cheaper now, and your appreciation, there's no ceiling on it?
I mean, I'm not cheering it because I think he made a mistake for the tweet, but if I do think shares are more undervalued than before, then I do think this is a strategic time to add. I will say, like, Tesla stock has crushed every single automaker, every single market since, like, they IPO'd. So them removing Elon Musk because he's doing harm to retail investors is so ironic. Like, they should remove every other automaker CEO for underperforming chronically. So I think it's such a complex case, and there's so many layers to this. And I just think the crux of the issue is that, did he have bad intent? And I just don't think he did at all. I think he was just trying to be transparent, but he messed up in the way he did it and didn't think about it. And so I think the consequences of him leaving is just way overblown, and it was just a mistake. But like you said, this could be a good thing in that he'll learn from it. Like, I really think this could be the gut check that Elon needed to really be a wake-up call and say, like, let's get your in line because the mission is more important than ego.
Well, yeah, he hasn't tweeted since, in the last couple of days. I want to get back to your other point, though, about this charge, which is, again, to remove him, and why it was actually filed. So, you have your sources, I got mine. My sources are saying this is pretty much an ironclad case at this point that they have against him. Yours are saying not so much, that it's weak. The intent, sure, maybe that's something they might need to prove, but it's also why, again, according to my sources and a lot of other sources, they had to file at the last minute because they were really close to a settlement, and they decided that no, we do not agree to whatever terms they were, and it might be this one case, which is to remove him, right?
Yeah.
So now the fight. They're still going to fight that one charge to say, look, we want to keep him on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tesla has a really strong case here. They were going to settle with the SEC, and then they didn't, and they want to fight this all the way. I think that's sort of an interesting indicator that they really do think they can win. And I will think the other thing that's really interesting is the timing of when the SEC released this. Tesla's about to release their production numbers next week. These numbers is what every bull has been waiting for. They're going to triple production year over year. The Model 3 is crushing every other car in market share. Like, this is the bullish news piece that will drive shares higher than the funding secured tweet, or potentially could have, which would have made the entire case irrelevant because all that investor damage would have gone away just based on the execution of Tesla. But they released this news a little bit earlier, and so that's a whole nother angle to the case. So I think there's so many layers to this. And it's just so complex.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to pull up a part of the press conference that we'll have in a little second here, because one of the things that we've been talking about is whether or not Twitter is an appropriate forum to communicate. And in the press conference and inside of the complaint, they did say that, yeah, it has become the norm. Mm-hmm. They also talked about the responsibilities of being at the top of your company, being a board member, being the chair, being the CEO, that you have a responsibility to be, like you said, transparent too, but also to act responsibly. And in this case, they don't feel like he did, and that no status, celebrity status, or the status that he is this amazing innovator excuses that kind of behavior. What's your response to that?
I mean, I just come back to the fact that, like, Elon has created more value for shareholders over the long run. Like, he didn't profit from this manipulation. The intent wasn't bad. I just think it's not that big of a deal. Like,
let's listen to that soundbite real quick.
Firm offer in hand, we allege that Musk had arrived at the price of $420 by assuming a 20% premium over Tesla's then existing share price, and then rounding up to $420 because of the significance of that number in marijuana culture and his belief that his girlfriend would be amused by it.
So this is the part where we also didn't really understand where this 420 number came from, and it also seemed like it was sort of done as a joke and to make his girlfriend happy. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I mean, that's actually not what it was. It was a 20% premium, which is
he rounded it up to make
from
it
from 419 to 420, which is just like around. I mean, I guess so. The $1 was a joke, but I mean, it's still like exactly a very reasonable buyout premium. So I don't think that was too much of an issue. And I do think Twitter is, times are changing. Twitter is a new medium for CEOs to communicate with the public and retail investors. And I think in the long run, like, having access and being able to communicate instantly with the whole world is a really amazing technology that Twitter's built. And you can use that for good or bad. And Elon messed up in this case. But going forward, I think CEOs being more transparent, more accessible, communicating more is better. And Elon is a vanguard on that front and has done really great things there. But he did mess up with his funding secured tweet.
Well, I want to show the statements from both Elon Musk and the company because they did come in separately. Elon Musk saying that he was essentially trying to be transparent, and then the company also saying we actually have full faith. So here is the statement from Elon Musk calling this unjustified. He is trying to be truthful, he's trying to be accurate, and that integrity is very important to him, and that he has never compromised in any way in his life and his values here. And then the company again saying that they have full faith in Elon Musk as well. What do you think the chances are that Elon Musk will actually remain as the CEO of Tesla?
I have no idea. I wish I knew that. But I do think that quote by Elon is so important because it shows like what would have Elon had to have gained by manipulating the market. Like he didn't cash out. Like it doesn't make sense when you add it up. Elon has always been truthful. He's always been transparent. He put every single dollar he has into starting this company. He's already rich. He's already famous. He's not doing it for those things. He's doing it to change the world. And like I just think that's the lens I look at it through. He's a truthful guy. He's working really hard to do good for humanity. The biggest challenge our generation faces is to get off of fossil fuels. 5 years ago, we were not headed in that direction, but the course of that pivoted with the Model S, and now every automaker is going electric. This is the best news, the best pivot in the like what humanity's doing in hundreds of years. I'm such a big fan of this. And so I think Elon is truthful, he's transparent, he's trying to do the right thing. He messed up, and the SEC is overreacting.
SEC is overreacting. All right, last words there from Galileo. Thank you so much, Galileo Russell. He's a friend of the show, and he's also the founder at HyperChange TV. Thanks again.
Thank you.